Welcome, everybody, to the July update. Hope you're all doing well, staying nice and cool today. In the beginning of June, we did have a bit of a bump. I had experienced this very distinctive lower vibration, and it felt and sounded like this continuous grinding beat. I wasn't really sure what it was, but it felt really maddening and irritating. And it lasted for a couple of days. It wasn't like it was just short term, it actually lasted for several days. And I know it was coming from the earth, but I really, wasn't getting any information. So, but I did notice at that point, that's when people started to snap. And as you know, in the US, we experienced all these mass shootings that were going on. And I really do attribute what that was, whether it was the earth shifting or whether it was intentional. It definitely was affecting people. As these timelines merge, they can cause a bit of a wobble as they interface. And it causes disruptions in the brain that can alter a person's reality. So if you have someone who isn't stable, it can actually push them over the edge. Eventually, these lower frequencies are dissolved and absorbed into the higher ones. But unfortunately, there's not much that we can do for these people that are unstable at this point. Our recourse is to just make sure that we can hold that higher frequency, hold the light, and bring more of that in. But unfortunately, people are just going to snap during these times, and we just have to remember to keep holding that light. You may have also noticed hearing and vision changes. I've been hearing that from a lot of people. I've experienced it myself. A whole new level where both the vision and the hearing are coming online to a more sensitive and heightened state. So you may be experiencing extrasensory perceptions in ways that you haven't before. Even if you are psychic, medium, and have gifts, these will even more come on board and get heightened. And for those of you that are just at that beginning stages, you may experience things that you've never had before. But and my old saying, just go with it, and definitely recognize that when these things happen with your hearing, and your vision, that you're leveling up, and that the signs and symbols and messages are flowing into you, and you just need to take that time and focus to what is it presenting to you, what is it telling you, and you'll figure it out. Sooner or later you'll figure it out. And then I have to tell you, the light codes and the rays that have been coming in are just brilliant. I have never seen these colors before. I've been seeing these vibrant pinks where it's almost neon, but it's not. There's just no description for them. And the blues, anywhere from the Tiffany to the aquamarine and the turquoise, just gorgeous. And also the violet spectrum. So this has been flooding the earth over this last passageway and with the solstice. In fact, on the summer solstice, I had seen this explosion of colors that left this huge aura around the sun as the codes and the rays were coming in. And I will transmit those codes at the end of the video. But yeah, there's just no description to explain what they look like, and obviously you feel it. You feel the love coming in and the higher frequencies. On July 13th, we do have the second of the third supermoons, and this one will be the brightest of the three. And we will also enter in at that time on another energetic wave that will last until the end of August. I'm not really sure what to expect from this one. I'm hoping it's not going to be the same as we experienced in the beginning of the passageway. So again, we'll just see what happens. So this month, Gaia came to me and started to speak about the changes that we are experiencing on this earth. She is definitely heating up and getting hotter, and this is part of her ascension. So just as we are ascending, she is ascending in her own way too. So planets and stars, you can see this throughout the galaxy and the universe. They'll get to a point and they'll expand and contract and explode, so she's going through her ascension too. Whereas I've spoken about, you might see earthquakes and earth shifts. And they're reminding me there was just one in Afghanistan, which I really don't know too much about, but there was just one there. And, changing, with floods and water levels, some rising, some going lower. So as she expands, and continues to warm up, she's giving us this opportunity to also shift in the same way she is, to go to that higher level. And this is an opportunity for us, if we want to take hold of it, to just continue to rise and take in these frequencies. It is a choice. Not everybody's going to be on board with it, but if you choose, you can definitely tap in and receive all these energies at this time. And as she continues to warm, we will find new ways to adapt. From the way we learn how to build and work with the land, to new inventions, to new technologies, to the way we travel on the earth and off the earth, will start to come into play. And there are very, very creative geniuses out there that are going to see these issues not as problems, but just, how can we make it better? How can we shift this? And so you're going to see a whole lot of technologies and different ideas coming out, especially, from now, really for 10 years, but you're going to see a lot coming out from now till 2025. So there's just so much going on. People will start to recognize and reconnect back into nature again, because we're all realizing the importance. We live on her. And what was it? George Carlin said, we're just kind of like fleas to her. She can kick us off any time. So, I don't worry, she's not going to do that. But just to come to the realization that instead of working against her, we work with her. That we're all connected and cohesive. So you're going to see changes with that. It's definitely the plant and the animal life will adapt, with some species going extinct. And Gaia really came forth and wanted me to put out there that, this is not something to be sad about, that this is part of a cycle and this is part of ascension. And, that she asks us that we understand that they have fulfilled their mission on her, and their purpose has wound up, is finished. And just how we leave our vessel when we pass and go on to where we're supposed to go, the plants and animals will do the same thing. And as some of you might know, when you have a reading, or healing, you have loved ones come in, you have your animals come in, so this isn't the end. It's just a pause. It's just a pause, and they move on to wherever they're supposed to be. So she really just wants to express not to be sad or upset about losing things, because we don't really lose them. They just transform into another form of energy. So we'll see them again, just in different ways. And for some beings, their reincarnations will cease. So they have also come to their fruition and will not reincarnate anymore. It ends that continual cycle of rebirth. And other beings will, from this planet, will go on to their appropriate dimensions and planets that will serve their need best. So again, it's really not something that we need to be upset about or worry about. Everybody's going to go where they're supposed to go. And discoveries will start to be made, or correct me on that. They will be found. Discoveries will be found of unknown species that have been living on the earth, that we just weren't aware of. So you're going to see that happening. And then you're also, we're going to see new species developing, that, because Gaia is changing, it now makes it available for them to now develop on our planet. And they're kind of coming in and saying, because Gaia has shifted, it's opened us up to so much that now other beings that could not live on our planet will now be able to come and visit or stay, because she has shifted. As most of you know, I speak about, our bodies are changing from the carbon-based to the crystalline-based, and we're becoming light-based. When we live from that higher frequency, this is also going to change the way we take in energy. So our food will become lighter, and start to get away from the heavier types of food. And there are already beings that have been for quite some time and are currently now living just on light. It is possible. I'm not quite ready to give up my donuts yet, so I'm going to hang in there. I know I should be eating lighter, which I am, but don't be afraid to have that piece of chocolate or that piece of cake when you want to. That is part of human nature too. So, but eventually, at some point, we will that's how we will take in our energy, our nutrients, is just by pure light, photonic light, plasma. So enjoy your food. Emerging systems will enable us to travel within the earth and across it, which is now taking shape, which you've heard me also speak about before. What took days or hours to go across the planet now will take moments. And I know myself, I'm so ready for that. I remember as a little girl watching the Jetsons and knowing that it was so possible, all the things that I saw were possible, and there was so much more to what was currently out there at that age. I knew all these things were available, just we hadn't figured them out yet. And I had actually seen the other day too, which was interesting. A Swedish company has produced and is selling a flying commuter car, and the company is Jetson. If you want to check it out, you can buy it. There is a waiting list, and it has a flight time of about 20 minutes. It does run on a battery. And I'm all in. I know they'll keep improving that, and it will get better, and we'll get away from even the battery use. There will be other forms that will come in. And yeah, so I would love to just hop in my commuter vehicle and go to the West Coast within minutes. I'm really really can't wait for that. Hope that comes out soon. So technologies are going to come to the forefront too that will enable symmetry and cohesion with all species and galactic races. As well as these galactic races are going to be reintroduced to us. We've never been alone. We've just been quarantined, so to speak, until we got to that next higher level again. And now everything, like I've spoke about, has now come and opened up. So I'm hoping by 2025 we will actually, as the government slowly drips information to people, it will finally open up and we'll be able to interact to a certain degree with our brothers and sisters from other planets. And also new ways of communication will also come aboard. They're laughing because it's really not new ways of communications. It's old, but we're being reintroduced to it again. That's going to come, light language will come to the forefront, along with direct knowing coming from, empathetic, coming from the heart space, through direct knowing, and telepathy and embodiment. So there'll be multiple ways to communicate where it will enable us to understand all languages, which, it won't be a difficult trying to decipher like we do now. Compassion and heart-based living will replace our linear way of life, and as we get further along, these are just going to be a natural way of living. It's not going to be something that's abrupt. It's just going to be a natural process that happens. I ran across a sign the other day saying, expect the unexpected. And I just laughed and I go, yeah, that pretty much sums it up, because this is where we're at. Anything is possible. And we will continue to make these quantum leaps for the next several years till 2025. And then it will continue on to 2038. So, again, expect the unexpected. Yes, be ready to pivot. Be ready, with that comes be ready to pivot, because things can change so rapidly. So being present, being flexible, being discerning, educating yourself about the new things that are coming into your view, asking and receiving guidance if you connect in with your guides, loved ones. Ask for that guidance and receive it. If not, there's plenty of ways, but use your discernment to get that guidance and contribute to the higher vibration, the higher mind, and just breathe. Just breathe. Settle in and relax and just be. Because you cannot change this. This is happening. We're in the midst of it. It's all you can do is just breathe and be in the moment and allow things to come to fruition. There's nothing to do. You just be in the state of gratitude, enjoy your life, and live in love, and let this all unfold before us. Your goals, I'm being reminded of what Mary told me years ago, and that is, don't write your plans in the sand, but write them in, excuse me, I reversed it. Don't write your plans in stone, but write them in sand, because it can quickly change, hence the pivot. So you can move towards your desires and preferences step by step, but knowing that you may need to pivot at any given moment. In fact, if you think about in the Harry Potter movies, where the staircases change. So in 1 minute they're going in one direction, and then it changes and they're off on another. It hasn't stopped them. It's just like, no, you need to go this way because there's something that you might need to see, or it's a better road, better path that leads you to different answers or to where you're supposed to be. So just realize that and go with the flow as much as you can, because in the coming years we're going to be moving at warp speed, and your light skills are a necessity as we continue to upgrade and take in these new frequencies. You want to keep up, because if you're not, it'll be a very rough road. Let's put it that way. We will see a new generation of compassionate leaders coming on board. As the old leaves us, these new leaders are going to come from that heart-based, and they're going to see things in a totally different light, where they're going to replace and rewrite the old systems. Our job is to, while this is occurring, our job is to hold on to the light and hold on to the higher vibrations, so these things can take place. And when we do that, we're saying no to attachment. We're saying no to judgment. We're saying no to hate by holding that light. And by holding the light, we say yes to our personal freedoms, yes to equality for all, and yes to love. So it's important that we maintain that road. It also enables us to release old energies and fears that divide us. Really coming to the realization that we are just a fractal of God. We're all the same. We all come from the same place. And we shouldn't let things divide us. And the more we come to that realization, the more we see each other as one. And we will, as our galactic brothers and sisters start to make themselves known in a more coming to the forefront, we're going to start to realize that we have this huge extended family, and that we're not alone, and that, oh, we've gotten it wrong, or correction, we were unaware. We were unaware. So when you're unaware, you can't make the choices that are best for you and those around you. So as Gaia ascends, she is presenting us with these limitless possibilities that have never been experienced on the earth before. Even though Atlantis and Lemuria were very advanced with the technologies and the higher vibrations, we've cruised right past that with her ascension, and now we're above where they were at that time. So even though we fell, we rose even higher, which is a wonderful thing, and it's just limitless. It's limitless. And when you start to understand this too, you will also realize you'll be able to manifest anything you want or need. I would add turning off the noise during this period of time would be very beneficial. Watch what you're consuming on social media, on with your family, your friends, workspace. Just watch what you're taking in. If it's fear-based, turn it off. Just turn it off. You don't need to get that into your system. You don't need to get that into your thoughts. Instead, meditate, be in nature, exercise, paint, do what you love to do. That also grounds you. And if you're prone to overthinking, which I know many are, if you're prone to thinking, then realize that when you go down the negative thinking, take the moment to realize it and switch it. If you're going to overthink good things. So it really is that simple, but it's the act of realizing that you're thinking about, oh my God, this could happen, and then what if this, and what am I going to do? And then switch it to, it's all going to be fine. It's all going to work out. And oh, I get to do this, and because this changes, this will enable this to happen. So think about the good things if you're going to overthink, and let that be your nature. Share it. Be positive with everyone around you. It's a snowball effect, right? The more you think about good things, the more good things you'll receive. And it works the same way with negative. So catch yourself when you overthink the negative. If you're feeling overwhelmed, I suggest using the Holon. And if you're not familiar with it, it works. If you use it on a daily basis, it works to balance you out and also protect you. It does so much more, but at its basis, that's what it does, is it keeps you balanced. It protects you from the negative aspects around you. So if you're not familiar with it, you can go to my website. There is a meditation for that, and you can check that out. And as well as my other services. And okay, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. And I just want to thank you for liking and subscribing. It helps those who needs to hear these messages, even if you are aware of some of these things happening, or you've been down, whatever I already spoke about. There's a lot of people who are not aware of these things. So by you liking and subscribing, it gets that word out. So yeah, that's it for this month. Yay! So this month's light language transmission I received on the solstice from the sun. So I'm going to go ahead and transmit that and have a happy and blessed July. Thank you. Dea haria nyoshte arena akorenia asu ishti iti atu arama aku nane aurunya nease tari ite akari anoishta utukana lamia no neaye baria tuka aoshtu ute eneaye anuna su arena koshti tarinye biashtu uriti arenya karen korita naurotoshti deyaku ma urunyane akarieta su ishte ana arandu urete ana maku urusht nabe aku uriane lahachteni itushte aku nano oratama iakaroyana Ekiateshti anea urea mea beatoyeta nenea warea biashto iaka laha minia nea koyeshti arenya te arenia kuretasa aroштена areana shutaro ishtai na o koyenaya aro garomane aromaya aka Aku o taishta ana are tuishte ana oria yala na tuyina aku uria nasiarina aroria nae o koyena mia shoriata shoriatia piane aku yaranyo lioria nae aku ye shakamona a Acton nane ai ma oyene aran oko orata raktanya su ariana rata iasha alama iakiane auriampa nane ayaku naroya she anearietusu akanane amanea Akarenya su uruta naye kia shoriete darite ana nyaretieta ayahrenesia tushti intiania tutoya pianea ki apianea te arietuye piana la hamune ashtu achtamaya yenane